Hey guys, welcome back to MMA Library. Today in MMA and UFC news, Jon Jones has finally resurfaced on social media and had some words for Stipe Miocic. Jones began by replying to this tweet. Weird, because last month you said I was the one running, Johnny Bones. Jones replied with, I lay low for a few weeks, and then you convince yourself that I'm afraid of you. Ha, whatever you need to tell yourself, old timer. Jones then replied to a fan who asked if they were going to fight in July. No, I think the UFC has other plans for us. Jones then hinted at early retirement following a fight with Stipe, saying, how cool would it be to spend my retirement fight dominating the greatest heavyweight of all time in my home state of Madison Square Garden? What do you guys think about Jones' comments? And do you think he'll retire after he faces off against Stipe? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Jan Blachowicz claims he's eyeing a fight against Israel Adesanya next, but says he's open to a potential fight with Alex Pereira as well. Here's what Blachowicz had to say.
People need to believe a little bit more in me. And if UFC would like to make this fight, I will do it, no problem. I know how to do it. I will, that will be great motivation for me, big motivation, to beat him another one, another one times. So yeah, why not? I'm ready to doing that. He beat almost everybody in this division, so he needs a new challenge. So here I am. We meet in my category now. We can meet in his category.
Blachowicz had this to say about a matchup with Pereira.
I don't think about him right now, but I think, yeah, why not? I like challenges. He's very big challenges. This fight will be also very big, very great. So why not? But we will see what is gonna be his next move.
Big John McCarthy broke down why Max Holloway was able to defeat Arnold Allen this past weekend. During a recent edition of the Weighing In podcast, McCarthy had this to say about Allen.
That's what you had to do. The thing that has made you become a really good fighter is you're well-rounded and you can go anywhere in the fight, and that makes you special. You played right into Max Holloway's style and game plan by trying to out-technique a technician. And Arnold Allen's got good stand-up, but it's not the same as Max. Max is able to control distance. He is a guy that, he's controlling the timing of when the engagements are. He's controlling the distance. He's doing the fight that he needs to fight to win. And God bless him. Good for him. But if you're Arnold Allen, that whole thing of World War III, before the 5th round, if you had fought the whole fight like that, you had a chance of winning this fight. But you didn't. And that's why Max Holloway is still the guy sitting right there at the top.
Beneil Dariush reacts to Charles Oliveira postponing their scheduled fight. During an interview with the Schmo, Dariush had this to say.
I don't know. I don't know what his injury is. I don't know how he's going to recover fast enough and then get back into training camp. We're 8 weeks out from that fight now. I was supposed to be 3 weeks out from May 6th, but now we're 8 weeks out. And man, what I'm going to have to do is kind of pull back, chill out. Because I've been, this is when you go like a maniac. These last 4 weeks, 4 to 3 weeks, you go out there and you go as hard as you can, and then the last 2 weeks you start to kind of taper down. So I'm gonna have to pull back a little bit and get ready and do another camp basically. So just have to be smart about it. But I feel great shape wise. I'm the best shape I've ever been. Speed is good, power is good. I was really looking forward to May 6th to the point where I was willing to fight just about anybody else. I even, thinking about it now, I would even go up to 170 if they gave me an opportunity at May 6th.
John Anik believes Israel Adesanya is the greatest middleweight of all time. Following Adesanya's victory over Pereira, Anik had this to say. It also, in my humble opinion, cements Israel Adesanya as the greatest of all time. There are people who can still argue Anderson Silva is the greatest middleweight champion of all time, and in terms of title defenses, that's okay. But I sit here in 2023 and not just argue for Adesanya's case as one of the best pound-for-pound guys right now. I think he's the greatest middleweight champion of all time on his strength of schedule and based on this win. Chael Sonnen gives his take on Alex Pereira moving up to 205.
Well, Pereira's going 205. Now, I told you guys right after he lost to Izzy. I told you that I spoke to somebody that knows him very well. And they just told me, look, he's going to go to 205. And I said, well, this is kind of heated. And we got, we had the piece of theater between Izzy and the son and a little bit of back and forth here. Are you sure about that? And he goes, well, you got to understand how Pereira's mind works. Pierre wants to do new things. He wants to win new things. So if you offer him a chance to fight Izzy, First, you're offering him a chance to be 185-pound champion. He's already done that. Second, you're offering him a chance to beat Israel Adesanya. He's already done that. So the way that his mind works, he will go to 205 and try to do and beat people that he has not yet done and beaten. I only go back to, because when it got announced that in fact he was going to 205, the person that told me that quickly came back to me and said, told ya.
Edson Barboza claimed he worked on the technique that finished Billy Quarantillo for over 8 weeks during a recent interview. Barboza finished Quarantillo with a vicious knee this past weekend at UFC Kansas. Here's what Barboza had to say.
I expect he's coming hard to try some, some good bangs, but he'd go straight to take me down. But I'm ready for that, Most guys fight me, try to take me down, and yeah, I trained this move for 8 weeks. I know he throw the jab, change his level a little bit. I know his head's gonna be exactly on that spot, and it's worked very well. Thank you, my master Anderson França.
Dana White gives his take on Arnold Allen following his loss to Max Holloway this past weekend.
Yeah, I don't care about the guys who necessarily get out there on social media or talk or do anything else. It's all about, in this business, it's all about how you fight. Are you good enough? And let me tell you how hard it is to break into the top 5, especially in that weight class. And he has, and he's a talented guy. And I think that, there are a lot of mistakes made tonight in the corner. And obviously he's got that experience under his belt now. And they got to go back and figure out what went wrong and what was broken and fix it and come back. He's a talented kid.
Dana also went on to shed some insight into when we may see Leon Edwards face off against Colby Covington. Dana suggests that the fight will not go down in Abu Dhabi in October.
On the topic of Leon, I believe he said that he's not going to be fighting in July in London. He's possibly looking at Abu Dhabi. Is that still Colby, or is there other potential options on the table?
Yeah, I don't know about Abu Dhabi, but we'll see. We don't know what's going to happen with that. That's all. We're working on all that right now.
Daniel Cormier believes Raul Rosa Jr. will actually benefit from his loss to Christian Rodriguez. During a recent edition of the DC and RC show, Cormier said, "I tap in that the loss was good for him because it'll teach him humility. This kid was confident at a level that not many people are. There was a story where Rosa's dad was filming Aljamain Sterling and Raul Rosa Jr. I was in the fighter meeting, and Rosa walked in there and told me that he threw Aljamain down so easily, he thought he was a striker. He told me that he was going 30% on Aljamain Sterling. So it was a youthful confidence, but it wasn't allowing him to be his true self. Sometimes you have to be humbled, and I think this fight will humble him. It will allow for him, a kid with so much potential, to truly go to the levels that he needs to go." Following his victory this past weekend, Max Holloway suggests we may see him continue his career in the UFC as a 2-division fighter. Here's what Holloway had to say.
You've kind of faced most, if not all of them now, and it's kind of like a rematch tour at this point if you're carrying on at 45. Are you also potentially considering jumping up to 55, taking some new challenges on at 55 and maybe splitting your time between the 2 divisions just to freshen things up?
We see what happens. Never say never, man. We can talk to the UFC and see if they let to do that. They don't like people splitting their time too much. But the beautiful thing is when you get a belt, you can do whatever you want. So that's the main goal right now.
Guys, thanks so much for checking out the video. If you like the content we do here on this channel, don't forget to like and subscribe to MMA Library for all the latest MMA and UFC news. We'll see you in the next video.